Hello. This is a very unusual thing today, but welcome. I am Dr. Angelika Christie, your host of the show, Your Radiant Life After 45, Skills for Healthy, Happy, and Prosperous Women. I believe in a world where women are cherished and thrive because the world needs your light. I help you discover and live your unique gift confidently and with pride. With over 25 years of professional experience as a naturopathic doctor, specializing in healthy aging, and as a lifestyle and relationship coach, I share my heart and knowledge with my vast personal life experience. If this sounds good enough for you, be my guest here every week on this day of the week, on Saturdays, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Yes? Yes. So let's begin. First of all, my apology. I am traveling. I'm in Mexico and I am late because I have been looking for Wi-Fi, which was there and then off and then there and then off and then off for a long time. So now I have Wi-Fi. I cannot promise you that I will be with you for the entire hour, but so far so good. So in this last episode in the series of 7 C's to outrageous success in life and in your relationships, we are talking today about peace and community. I shared with you so far about clarity, courage, creativity, choice, and commitment. Peace and community is kind of collaboration, and it is important in our families, with our friends, at work. But today I'm sharing collaboration with spirit so that you find inner peace and happiness. So what does inner peace really mean? Inner peace, according to the Wikipedia, says inner peace refers to a deliberate state of psychological or spiritual calm, despite of potential presence of stressors. Being at peace is considered by many to be a healthy homeostasis, which our body has naturally, and the opposite of being stressed or anxious. And it is considered to be a state where our mind performs at an optimal level with positive outcomes. Peace of mind is thus generally associated with bliss, with happiness, with contentment. Peace of mind is defined as a mental state of calmness and tranquility. It may also include freedom from worry and anxiety. It can be intense and overwhelming when our mind buzzes with thoughts. We just want some peace of mind. Yes, all of us want that, which is to say we want a calm, relaxed state of mind. We want to be content. In some cultures, inner peace is considered a state of consciousness or enlightenment that might be cultivated by some forms of training, such as breathing exercises, prayer, meditation, Tai Chi, yoga. Many spiritual practices refer to this peace as an experience of self-knowledge, knowing yourself, or self-realization. Here are 8 suggestions on how to find inner peace and happiness. First, spend time in nature. And look at my background. I mean, I am in I'm sorry, I have problems pronouncing this name sometimes. It's a beautiful, beautiful place in the mountains, 6,000 feet high in Mexico at Lake Chapala. Okay, so I am in nature. But because when you spend time in nature, like taking short walks or appreciate nature, you may not only find serenity, but an expanded sense of awe for the world that you are an intrinsic part of. Yes, you are connected and part of all that exists in nature. I have written a little book about 12 years ago, and that book is about the connection of your body and the natural world regarding to the 4 elements, the element of air, fire, earth, and water. If you want a free download of the PDF, message me and I will email it to you. And I will be so happy to send it to you as my gift. Okay, the second suggestion that I have is meditate. Meditation is a wonderful tool to invite peace into your body. My clients and lady friends say that they struggle to sit still in meditation. You don't have to sit in the lotus position or even sit at all, but you can walk and meditate, walk and contemplate, or recite a mantra. I love to find words for God or the divine on my beach walks. For example, I start with the letter A and go through the entire alphabet to find at least one or better more words that are uplifting and prayer-like, or even prayer-like phrases. The third one is be grateful. Gratitude is a marvelous antidote to stress. You cannot be grateful and upset or even angry at the same time. When you are grateful, anger and be feeling upset cannot exist at that same time. So start your day by finding at least 10 things that you are grateful for. This alone will set the tone and positive affects your mind and your attitude, which can last all day. I have some noises here, so I'm so sorry about this, but it is what it is. This is real life, right? And we are life. Okay, number 4. Take responsibility for your actions. Your actions are yours alone. Even if you believe that you had a good reason or even feel that you had no choice and felt triggered to act in a certain way. All of those are excuses and don't even make you feel great, right? Taking responsibility for your actions, no matter what it is, will strengthen and empower you. It's a good and an even happy feeling. You may want to try it. Don't let your past mistakes define you. The past is gone and cannot affect you anymore unless you allow it to be part of your present. So don't allow to bring the past into your present. There is no logical reason to do that. And yet we can be so attached to our life story and in such a habitual, unconscious state of mind that we punish ourselves by continuously bringing us painful or negative events from the past. You can break that cycle by consciously letting the past be the past, meaning to cut the invisible strings that seem to pull your past mistakes into the present moment over and over again. Number 6. Love yourself. It is easier to love somebody else than to love yourself fully. Yes, do you feel that as well? Why is that? Here is what I believe is a valid reason. You can love somebody's lovable parts, but you cannot divide yourself that way. When it comes to self-love, you cannot just love the good parts, right? When you love yourself, you must love yourself completely. What does it mean? The good, the bad, and the ugly. Or in other words, your holy and broken self. Number 7, practice acceptance and contentment. When you let go of changing others or even situations you cannot control, you accept what is. And accepting reality is not always easy, but it prevents the suffering from holding on to an illusion or some kind of wishful thinking. Contentment comes with deciding what is important to you in your life and letting go of the rest. I also see contentment as an ability to adjust to any situation that asks for adjusting to change. Change happens all the time. All of our life is about change. And sometimes we have to pivot. So the ability to pivot to accommodate change, which change, as I already said, is a reality of life. That ability to adjust and pivot is really very, very helpful also. And number 8 is something that you may not even think about. And it is declutter. Yes, declutter. Because the more stuff you collect, the more you have to look after. Isn't that so? Yes. The more you have, the more worries you feel that it may break, or that it may get stolen, or that it may be taken away somehow. But if you are attached to stuff that usually accumulates in your house, in your home, wherever that is, clutter will create a disturbance in your space that your nervous system reacts negatively to. Even if you're not consciously aware of this, you will see and feel the difference when you declutter your space. Believe me, I have done it. There is a reason why Zen-like spaces are so sparsely decorated. Don't you feel this when you see a Japanese garden? Excuse me. Oh, no. Excuse me, ladies. Excuse me, ladies. Just turn it on a little bit. Jesus. Thank you. I'm sorry. I just had 2 ladies here that I actually could ask to keep their voices down, so you don't have to hear this other conversation going on while you are listening to this show. Okay, now I would like to share with you the 4 ways to find peace for yourself. First of all, focus on what is positive in your life and the long-term picture of what you want to create in your life. It's hard to feel at peace when you're focused only on short-term worries. Yes? If you're focused on short-term worries, then everything just grows so big. It grows into a monster sometimes. But know that maybe a week later, you may think, why did I even worry so much about it? Because most of our worries don't come true anyway. But so you can remind yourself not to worry about short term. Take action, do what you need to do what is necessary, but don't worry because it doesn't change anything anyway, right? So let go, number 2, let go of what you can't control. That's kind of a continuation of my first point. And take inspired action on what you can control. And by the way, you are always in control of your thoughts, which actually trigger then your feelings. You may feel hopeless or even angry when something outside of your control takes away your peace. That's natural. But when those feelings are triggered, take a deep breath and exhale the tension. Say to yourself that you have the power to choose your reaction to anything that appears in your world. Think about this. Isn't this a tremendous power you possess? Yes, I believe so. Number 3, forgive others. The reason you the reason why you may believe that it is difficult to forgive what you consider unforgivable is just because you are attached to the pain that somebody inflicted on you. Yes, and it's usually a person or some persons, or when it's a situation, then you blame something that you cannot control. And you cannot control people either. You have probably heard this many times before, and yet it is a good thing to remember that your anger only hurts you and not the person you are angry with. Excuse me. Excuse me. I should have some water. I don't. And that your unforgiveness is like taking a poison that kills your mind and can even kill your body, meaning that it could shorten your life because anger creates all kinds of bad chemistry in your body, in your physical body, and in your mind, and then in your emotions that can lead to diseases. So if you can imagine forgiveness as an act of love and kindness to yourself, could you not do this for yourself? Think about it. Forgiveness as an act of love and kindness to yourself. In other words, as an act of self-love. Okay, so this was the sixth part of the 6C in this whole series. And the last one I want to share with you is about community. Do you know that you and I are the same? We look different, and yet we are the same. We have the same needs. We have the same desires. Yes, we are practically the same. Can you imagine what those needs and desires are? And you will agree that they are mine, they are yours, and they are probably everybody's. Here is what I believe they include. We need to be witnessed. Yes? We need to be seen. We need to be loved. We need to be touched, acknowledged. We need to be valued. Do you know where all of this happens? It happens in relationships with others. It happens in community. We have a lot in common. We just don't always notice. Therefore, we feel more isolated rather than connected. But connection is one of the primal necessities for our growth, our sense of belonging, even our safety. Loneliness is one of the most common realities, especially in older women, especially women who maybe had children, had a family, and their children left the home, and maybe they don't have a lot of contact, because it doesn't mean that your children will be in contact with you once they leave the house. Some will. I'm so fortunate, so lucky that my children are in contact with me, that we are all together and have this beautiful community. I have 5 children and 10 grandchildren. So it's a total blessing, but it's not guaranteed. And you cannot even design it or willfully have it. It's a gift when it's like this. But if it is not so, then very often, and I see it in many of my clients who feel lonely, especially women. It is sad because it doesn't have to be. You probably know loneliness has nothing to do with how many people are around you, right? And you say, well, you know, I still have my husband, I still have my children around, and I have a lot of friends. And yet it depends on what kind of connection you have, because the amount of people you have around you have nothing to do with how connected, how connected you feel, how much community you feel. As I said, you can feel very lonely with a lot of people around you, you know? It has to do with connection and with allowing to be witnessed, to be seen, to be touched, to be understood, to be celebrated, to be valued. All of this. Don't you agree? I believe so. Nobody knows what's going on in your heart, how you feel, and even maybe why you suffer. Let me tell you a little bit about me and the story. About 30 years ago, after having met my soulmate in the Bahamas, of all places, I gave up everything in my country, which is Germany, the country of my birth and where I lived for the first 36 years of my life was Germany. I followed my soulmate to the Bahamas, where we got married in 1980. Long time ago, I know. Everything was so new and exciting. A totally different culture, different country. It was just, yeah, I felt like the star in my own fairy tale. I also gave birth to two beautiful children. My husband and I seemed to have it all. We had love, we had financial stability. My husband is an attorney, and a beautiful family. Yet I became increasingly lonely and felt isolated. I was living the life of Mrs. Christie, Mrs. Brentford Christie, the prominent and successful attorney, just his wife. I had no real self-image. I was living the dream life from the outside. So it looked to my friends, to everybody out from the outside. But inside of me, I felt isolated because nobody really knew who I was. I created because I wanted to do something that only I could do. So I created two businesses from the passion within me. I opened my first children's store. It was called Precious Kids, a cute children's store. And I had to close it because actually I was so much somebody who loved healthy living, who loved to eat healthy. So 12 years later, after I closed the children's store, I opened a center. It was called Radiant Health Center, a place for health and healing. While still running my children's store, I studied for 5 years, for 5 more years during countless hours, countless nights to become a healer, a naturopathic doctor, and nutritionist, and many other health and healing modalities that I was so interested in. So I just added one after the other. And while when I had my children's store, as I said, on weekends and in the evenings, and in the nights, especially when the house was quiet, the kids were asleep, that's when I did all of my studying. So this Radiant Health Center was an oasis for health and healing. And it helped me to create a community. I needed it, even for myself. I felt connected and happy teaching other people who came in. And I created circles of healing in so many ways, including Reiki. I became a Reiki master about 30 years ago. Yet, after only 10 years of having this health and healing center, in 2009 it was, I had to close it due to a drop in our economy on the island. And we had 3 hurricanes. And then in 2008, those 3 hurricanes actually totally destroyed our infrastructure. And then in 2008, we all know what happened. The world economy just dropped. And our little island, people didn't come and travel anymore. And so the money dried up and it became very, very difficult to keep salaries going. And I found myself self-employed without pay, just to keep everything open. And so I lost my income and the place of healing. And really, it cut the connection I had with my clients as well, at least on my small island, because I started something totally different. I started an online business. But sitting behind my computer day after day in a virtual world actually triggered a certain loneliness. That loneliness really came back, and my longing to step out beyond the boundaries of my little country, the Bahamas. It was the country of choice, of course, but my small island, Grand Bahama Island, to reach the world and share my gift in a bigger way, just grew more and more. You see, even though I had all of the qualifications after having spent almost a decade learning from the best mentors and coaches, it still took a radical change in priorities to make my dream come true. Because up to that point, everything I had created was considered a hobby that should not interfere with our family life. Yes, I had 5 children, right? So I had a big home, and family life could not really suffer. So I became superwoman. You can imagine. How many of you feel that you are superwomen? Because you are just doing so much. You wear so many hats. You play so many roles, right? But when I spoke to my husband about how I wanted to step out into the world in a bigger way, he believed that my ideas seemed radical and unrealistic. And to some of my family members, even ridiculous. Do you have a person or persons in your family or another person of influence who tries to hold you back? Who tries to instill fear rather than encouragement and possibilities? Yes, you are not alone. And let me tell you, it takes courage to take a stand for yourself. It takes clarity to know what you came into this lifetime to accomplish. And it may be a purpose beyond being a wife if you are married, a mother if you have children, and maybe later a grandmother for your children's children. But who is there for you to understand, encourage, and support you? You see, you need community for that, and you don't always find it within your family. Yes or yes? But if you find it in your family, then you consider yourself very blessed and fortunate. It's really a blessing when you have at least one member in your family who is your cheerleader. But what if you don't have that? What if more people try to hold you back than encourage you to move forward, to fulfill your dreams, to fulfill your destiny, to create your legacy and live that? Yes, to move forward because you feel this longing, like a burning desire to become your best and highest self. You feel it in your heart and your soul. Because it's the woman that you truly are, unique, gifted, unafraid, unapologetically you. God gave you that gift. You know it. And sometimes you just hold it back because nobody really encourages you. Nobody will give you permission. And how often, and especially I saw this with so many women, how many women feel that they need permission? If they are married, they feel they need permission from their spouse, or sometimes even their children. But nobody will give you permission to be that. Sometimes if you're lucky, you may have a child. For example, my youngest daughter, Tatiana, she is my cheerleader. So I feel very, very blessed, very, very lucky to have her to be my cheerleader. And actually, she traveled with me to Mexico, where I am right now, and where I have to apologize for all of the noise that is around me. But this is the only spot where I found the Wi-Fi. So my 2 daughters, yeah, I have 2 daughters, traveled with me to Ajijic. And this is in the mountains in Mexico, in this beautiful spa hotel, Vita Bella. And this is the weekend. And of course, a lot of people come here because this place is so beautiful. I mean, it really is totally gorgeous, beautiful. So anyway, I wanted to just show you a little bit around, because this is a very unconventional episode that I have with you here, because as I said, I had to start late, and I'm actually doing the full hour because I started already 18 minutes late. But coming back, if you feel, and women often feel, that they need permission to be all they can be, truly themselves, their unique self, their gifted self, their unafraid self, their unapologetic self, then usually they stay in their own shadow. They just do what is expected of them, and maybe venture out a little bit, but never fully, totally realized, because somehow they feel that they need permission. No, you don't need permission, but you need your tribe, a community to support you. A tribe, a community, and also something even closer, a confidant, maybe a mentor, a coach, a guide who lifts you up when you fall, or when you stumble, or when you lose your way, or when you're in doubt. And a close community of like-minded friends, true friends who have your back without question, who stand shoulder to shoulder by your side and cheer you on and support you and don't give up on you. Never give up on you, so that you don't give up on you. So here are the words that give you the courage to be yourself. And you want to hear these words, and they are, I believe in you. You can do it. Or I fully support you. You are amazing. And most of all, I love you. I really love you. You can count on me. I am here for you. I have your back. That's how we thrive. This is what community is all about. Yes. I hope you get this, and I hope I have brought some value to you today in this year. And let me just share with you that I started a new journey this year. I started it, but then so many things came and stopped it. I got COVID again, the second time, and that take some time away. And then I had to go to Germany for family reasons. That took time away. And now I'm in Mexico because my sister is not well. And my two daughters are with me. So there is always, life happens, right? Otherwise, I would have already invited you, created this community that I'm about to do and create. I want to create a community of like-minded women who want more from life, to be, to do, and to have everything that they desire. I want this, especially for women entering the second part of their lives, where there is so much, there comes a time when all of the chores, all of the things that you have, that were so important in your lives, have to take a little bit of a back seat, because your children have left the home. Maybe sometimes husbands get sick, or husbands die, or things just change, right?